What was your worst hotel stay experience and what made it so terrible? My dad went to a hotel once and checked into a first floor room. He went in the room, put his stuff down, opened the curtains, and a man was hiding there. My dad went, "Excuse me," closed the curtains, got his stuff and left. Went to the front desk to explain that a man was hiding in his room. Turns out the guy had just robbed a place and somehow got into the room with an open window. "Excuse me" is the alpha response to discovering a man hiding in your curtains. Your dad sounds like a boss. The bathroom locked from the outside. If you accidentally shut the door all the way, you had to have someone in the room open the door for you when you were done. If you were by yourself, you were sole until someone came back, or you called the front desk from the bathroom to send someone up. This was pre-mainstream cell phone usage, so you may not have had your phone on you at all times. Needless to say, we got our stay calmed. You know, I've seen phones in a hotel bathroom or two. I'm sure this isn't the reason why, but it always seemed weird to me at this point. I like the idea. What if someone breaks in while you're in there too? I mean, not the one you were staying in, haha. Getting stuck in an elevator with 2 children under the age of 6 for 3 hours. You know that little emergency phone they have in elevators? Well, it turns out they connect you to some idiot sitting in an office somewhere who does not even have any know-how or tools to do anything to help. The moron I talked to had no idea of that elevator or town I was in, and no idea of how to contact the hotel or 911 in the area. The only help he offered was to tell us to ring the alarm bell until staff responded. Then he hung up on us. Well, after ringing the bell for a good 20 minutes, a staff member did investigate. It turned out we were stuck between floors. She managed to pry open the doors from her side. She told us that, since it was a Sunday evening and we were in a remote place, nobody would be available to fix the elevator until Monday. As a last resort, my kids, my wife and I all had to squeeze through a narrow gap between the floor of the building and the roof of the elevator. Had that elevator decided to keep going down at the wrong moment, we would have been chopped in half. What did the hotel do about it? Absolutely nothing. At least until I wrote a bad review online. Then they contacted me and offered a free night for a future stay. After I expressed my opinion regarding that idea, they relented and refunded some of my money. I stayed at a travel lodge a few years back. Went to get into bed and there was a blood stain on the sheet right in the middle of the bed. Pulled the sheet back and there was a huge puddle of it on the mattress, still wet. Not nice. Not as bad as that, but Airbnb I stayed in a few weeks ago. It was just a room in the bottom on someone's house that had 3 other secluded rooms. Was pretty rough even by my standards, but was late so settled in. Finally laid down to find the duvet was covered in dry blood. Decided to sleep with just a sheet and heater on high. Woke in the middle of the night to a faint trance-like voice speaking another language non-stop for 30 minutes, probably longer after I fell asleep. First thing in the morning, noped out of there. I needed to find a hotel in Dayton, Ohio, because of my daughter's gymnastics competition. I read online reviews and the travel lodge there got good reviews. The price was good too, so I booked it. I had difficulty finding it because it was dark and their sign wasn't lit. Parking lot was pitch black. Just outside the entrance there were 2 sketchy guys that looked like they were negotiating a drug deal. Inside the motel lobby was dimly lit with flickering lights. The room was no better. Stained sheets, holes in the bedspread and hair in the shower. The fitness room consisted of a stair stepper that was broken and an old TV on the ground that was also broken. I told the front desk that I wanted to cancel our reservation. She said, "I don't blame you. This place is gross. I had an interview at Kohl's and hope they hire me so I can quit this place." Checked into a casino hotel in Shreveport, La. Put our stuff in the room and then went to the casino. Came back hours later and could not get into our room. Traipsed to the front desk to find out why the card key was not working. Was informed that our room had to be exterminated due to an infestation. When I inquired what type of infestation, I was told that the desk clerk was not allowed to divulge that information. Got hotel manager and he led us back to our room, let us in, and the place was tossed. Furniture overturned, mattress off of bed, etc. There was out luggage and belongings pretty much where we left them. Manager then took us to our new room and gave us the key cards for it. I asked, how the hell do you check someone into a room then discover it is infested with whatever? He was unable to adequately answer my question. I asked him about what type of extermination chemicals they used, because our stuff had been exterminated as well. He again could not comment. Wound up throwing out any consumables, didn't wear anything from our luggage, and checked out early the next morning, never to return again to that hotel. When we got home, washed everything in the hottest water available. As an aside, itched for a couple of days afterward, but this was probably power of suggestion. Happened over Christmas time in China. Came back to the hotel after dropping my boyfriend off at the airport, so was clearly not in the best mood, only to find a lot of my belongings moved around the room and items missing, including my passport. There was food that she moved into the bathroom. My deodorant was in the shower and my shower gel was on the TV cabinet. Things were taken out of my suitcase and other items were put into my suitcase. Jewelry was on the floor, etc. Just really random stuff had been moved. I had to go to reception and try to speak Mandarin. I was studying and explain the situation. My passport was the main issue and I managed to get it back, but I had gifts from my mum that were thrown out. Turns out the cleaner had taken my passport with the sheets to the laundry room, which is crazy as it was actually in a cupboard. No safe available. Checked out 2 weeks early and got a refund for all the missing items as she admitted to throwing them away. But she wouldn't say anything about why she had gone through my things or why she had moved anything. At the peak of Comdex's popularity in Las Vegas, I got stuck at the Tropicana. In those days, the infrastructure in Vegas couldn't handle the Comdex influx. My flight landed at midnight, but it took me until 4 AM to get to the hotel and wait through a 300-person line at the front desk. When I finally collapsed in my bed and entered that hazy, almost asleep state, it occurred to me that I was wet. Why should I be wet? I thought hazily. Then my eyes snapped open. I should not be wet. I jumped out of bed and pulled the covers back to see that piss had soaked out of the mattress and the sheets were soaked and yellow with it. Clearly the maids had realized that the previous guest had pissed the bed, as they had placed a towel under the fitted sheet. So, yeah, I had been lying in someone else's piss. BTW, this was my second room, as the first room they gave me a key to was occupied by a startled man and his tighty whities. On a work trip I was put in the most disgusting hotel room, to the point where I didn't feel comfortable and couldn't sleep. A pile of dirt and dust in the corner that I imagine would take years to accumulate. Brown stains on the lampshades. Food under the bed, water damage in the pictures and picture frames. The whole room smelled moldy. The headrear was sticky. TV remote was sticky and covered in food. Stuff all over the walls. Hair in the shower. The toilet bowl was stained red. Everything felt gross and grimy. Hot water didn't work in my room. Cold showers anyone. I felt like a walking zombie that work trip. It felt so disgusting I really couldn't sleep. My coworker in the next room over, his room door didn't fully shut, and he used the latch at the top to close it. The door was still open a couple inches, and he put a chair in front of the door, and didn't sleep at all that trip either. Edit. The hotel room on my last work trip was much nicer. I was about 4 at the time, so this is mostly based off my siblings' stories, even though I remember a few still shots. We were at a hotel with some family friends and their kids. 5 kids total, us included, ages 4 to 13. Parents put us all in the same room to chill in the evening as they went out to do adult things, probably a fancy dinner. Was chilling on the bed watching a movie, and then all of a sudden we heard a loud noise. The floor vibrated a bit, and then, I kid you not, hundreds if not thousands of mini spiders started flowing up the walls, in from 2 of the bottom corners in the room. After a butchered attempt to defend our ground by using marshmallows and ice cubes as projectiles, we huddled up in the bathroom, where we had the bottom of the door sealed with a towel. I slept in the bathtub with my sister that night. There were no phones to call for help. This was before kids/teens ever had cells, and we were very clearly instructed to not leave the room under any circumstances. We took those instructions a bit too seriously. My parents discovered the crime scene in the middle of the night and probably woke up the whole floor with their initial scream. We all ended up okay though. Motel 7 in El Paso had a software problem. Lost track of occupied rooms. Rather than checking, they issued keys to possibly occupied rooms and waited to see if anyone complained. I twice opened my new hotel room door to find other guests in there. Jesus. I'd expect that kind of unprofessional behavior from Motel 6, but never from Motel 7.